Well, you know what? First of all, I'd like to say, hey Internet! This week, in a shocking revelation, syncing people's files to the cloud without asking first can sometimes lead to security problems. Who knew? Find out why none of this is Apple's fault at all, ever, forever. Also, Nintendo proves itself so bad at naming things, even Microsoft could teach them a few lessons. Seriously, Nintendo Live Portable Gaming System 2.1 would be an improvement at this point. And finally, the Internet. Is it just a fad, or is it a violation of our moral well-being? We're going to figure this all out together because my name's Justin Pott, I'm in Boulder, Colorado, and you're listening to Technophilia. Keep doing that. With me today from the UK, as always, is Mr. James Bruce. How's it going, James?
I'm good. I've mostly just been playing Minecraft in the Oculus Rift.
Holy crap.
That's my week so far. It's like hundreds of hours.
Partying like it's 2009, eh?
Hell yeah.
Man, we got to talk a little bit more about the Oculus Rift. A listener right before the show sent us something on Twitter I'm pretty excited about, actually. This is the most excited about the Oculus Rift I've ever been, so that's saying something. But before we can get to any nonsense quite like that, I've got to talk to Dave LeClaire over in Connecticut. How's it going, Dave?
Is that me? I think that's me.
You.
Oh,
you
hi,
are
how's
Dave
it going?
LeClaire.
I'm Dave LeClaire. From this day
there
forward,
are 5 different Dave LeClaires that we've had so far.
I'm version 5.0.
They keep rebelling, and then I have to put them down. But I've got a facility somewhere in Salt Lake City where I can make new Daves. And I'm hoping this one's a little more compliant. I'm hoping this one can add some insight to the show. But so far, the formula hasn't really gotten quite right.
I was thinking about making like a multiple lives joke. Is that how I come into being? Because you said Salt Lake City.
What?
I like how you had a thread to start a joke with, but you couldn't quite make it, but you thought you'd still throw that out there anyways. That's great.
That became the joke.
Well, if you have any suggestions as to how to complete this joke, you can hook up with us on tlk.o/technophilia during the live recording every week. It's super broken right now, but this is amazing. Someone put up a pretty convincing little press release. It sounds like I wrote it. All about how we're canceled, and we had a good run and had loads of fun along the way, but we can't keep doing this. Make use of stop funding it. We tried everything to save it, but it was of no use. Holy shit, this sounds like me. And even at the end, it was a hell of a journey, and we'll never forget you, Technophiliacs. We love you, Technophiliacs. Holy crap. You know what? When we cancel the show, I think we're just going to use this straight up, James.
Yeah, that's fairly legit. I'd believe it.
Yeah. It sounded good. Thank you for saving me that time. I think we'll cancel it next week now that you've given me the press release. Honestly, this was the main thing that was holding me up. I just didn't want to take the time to write something. No,
it's
we're going to be
it's
around.
all believable except the "we love you" Technophiliacs part. Ugh.
I think I might have said that at some point. Maybe. I don't know.
I hate
Anyways,
them.
I love this about the internet. I love how in these dark corners people can just pretend to be someone else. And yeah, this is fun. This is great, guys. Let's move on and actually do the thing we're here to do. So, turns out iCloud, not terribly secure. My understanding, James, of what happened over the weekend, and if you've been living under a rock, you might not know this, but apparently some private photos owned by celebrities have ended up, I think a hacker named 4chan got hold of them.
Yeah, I saw that article on Reddit.
Yeah, I hear he's a system administrator or something.
Personally, I think it was E-Bomb's world, but it seems like there's a really big network of people trying to get into people's accounts at this point, right? And, you know, it's a fine line for these systems, right? Because if you make a system too secure, people will complain about how hard it is to get in when they forget their password. And if you've talked to normal people, as much as I have, James, you know that people forget their password routinely and hit the forgot password button like it's a candy dispensing machine. Like it's just their primary way of getting into accounts. So you've got a situation where a company like Apple needs to make it really easy for people who forget their passwords to get back in, right? But at the same time, they've got to make it secure. And I don't think there's a system alive that can do that. At least not that currently exists. So my understanding of the leak here, James, and you can maybe fill me in on the technical details, was they just kept guessing passwords, kept guessing answers to security questions until they got in. Is that more or less accurate?
It does look like there was a brute force vulnerability found in the Find My iPhone authentication dialog screen, which someone wrote a script for, and this was publicized way back a couple of months ago, and then recently Apple only just fixed it. They have said that probably wasn't how they hacked in, but that's dubious. But I'll tell you why in a minute. You can carry on talking if you want.
No, I was asking you. So it seems like
okay.
it was a by-the-book dictionary break-in then, which is when they take every word in the dictionary that exists and keep guessing until you get in, more or less, in combination of dictionary words. Now a pretty easy way to stop that is to not allow any logins for 24 hours after 10 failed attempts.
Yes, well, I mean, that's what they have protected like everything else with. It's just this one part of the whole network that was insecure in that way. But
it was the Find My Mac part of the network that was insecure. So like iCloud, you're saying you couldn't get in that way, but Find My Mac you could?
Yes, basically. So if you went to the main iCloud thing, it would have locked you out, apparently. But this particular part of it doesn't.
Okay.
Wait, so does that mean all these celebrities had to have Macs?
No. What? No, they all had iPhones, obviously.
So they had
rich people
iPhones,
have
and
iPhones.
if you get an iPhone by default, you are heavily encouraged to sign up for an iCloud account. Now, the process doesn't necessarily explain that signing up for this account means all the files you think are on your phone in private are now uploaded to a secure server, that someone could access later. And my lesson from this is maybe cloud by default, for all of its advantages, isn't a good thing. Maybe it's a good idea to have people opt in for certain photos to be uploaded to a service like iCloud and not just automatically have everything go up there. Especially, I mean,
the problem is
I'm
that
not
when you want to give people that experience, you can't turn things off by default. You have to turn them on by default. Otherwise, they complain they don't work, and then they have to go and look up tutorials on why their thingy isn't working. And that's why sites like ours have to exist.
Yeah. Well, and this has been a key problem throughout the history of the internet, basically, right? It's balancing ease of use with security. Because in terms of security, the best thing you can have is to not really have a secret question, right? And to maybe have a password that's a string of random letters and numbers and special characters, more or less.
You don't
like,
even
everyone
need that.
knows that this would be a good idea, but most people don't do it because on the balancing factors, you're going to forget that string of random numbers. So a lot of people have varying tricks to kind of find a compromise, but there's no perfect answer. There's nothing right now that's extremely easy to use and extremely secure. And we've talked about things like two-factor authentication, which is what I personally like, but then some people are like, well, that's annoying. I don't want to have to reach into my pocket and look at my phone to log into a new device. That's just a ludicrous thing for you to ask of me. Why can't I just type password, which has been my password since 1995? And you know what? No one's ever gotten into my stuff. I don't see why it's a problem, But, so you've got this ease of use problem balancing with this security problem, and then there's no full answer to that yet. I think that's really...
I feel like the best answer is just not putting nude pictures of yourself on your phone.
Where are you going to put them then?
Yeah. There's a reasonable expectation that a photo you take on your device is private. And I'm not sure that they knew that these things were being automatically uploaded to a cloud service. And I think it's a real cop-out to blame the users in this case. I really do.
No.
I definitely 100% I blame the users.
Look, I'll tell you why, right? Because
they took the photos.
Oh, shut up. No, okay. I'll tell you why, because I have a reasonably secure password for my iCloud account, right? It's 14 characters or something, but it's pretty easy to remember. I never struggle to remember it, right? It follows a pattern.
Yeah.
And I've typed it into, I've typed a similar one, obviously not my actual password. I've typed it into this Gibson Research Corporation. It's like a security tester thing. And when I put in a similar password, it says that in an offline fast attack scenario, it would take approximately 18.28 centuries to crack my password. Centuries. Yeah. That's offline if you've accessed the database and downloaded it all. In an online attack, it would still take 1.83 billion centuries. So if this was an online brute forced attack, their passwords were really, really crap.
I mean, you gotta understand though, most people have really crap passwords. That's what I'm telling you. This is the norm.
And that is a user problem.
Well, how about this then? If you know you are a celebrity and people want to see your nude photos, you shouldn't put them on your
password.
Or even don't put them on your phone. What if you drop your phone somewhere? If someone found Jennifer Lawrence's phone, you don't think they're going to flip
Well,
through
then they've
and
got a
see the
passcode,
photos?
haven't they?
Come on,
Like-
I'm not even going to engage with you on this. The idea that people who are celebrities can't have private
It's
moments
how it
captured
works, man.
digitally.
That's how the world works. When you choose
Probably.
to become a celebrity, you forfeit
don't-
a lot of your
okay.
privacy. That's how the world works. Don't be a celebrity. Don't be an actress if you don't want to be in the public eye like that. That's the way the world
completely
works.
Unreasonable. That's
But it's how it
completely
doesn't.
unreasonable.
It does not matter if it's reasonable or not. It's how the world works.
I think we as a world can be better than that.
But we can't, and we never have been, and we
You
never
can,
will
but
be.
the rest of the world can't. I mean, that's why you have
the world
magazines
never had. The
dedicated
world has
to...
always wanted to be prying onto every little thing that these famous people do, and they always will. And anybody who decides
Wait,
to
no, that's
become
an extremely narrow view of celebrity.
But
the
it's
concept
true.
of celebrities only existed for 100 years. There wasn't people scrambling at the bit to see a Leonardo da Vinci naked. Like you're making this up, dude.
How the hell
he
do you
wasn't
know
taking
that?
naked pictures of himself. There was no cameras, but people wanted to know what he was up to. Also, he wasn't really that famous till after he died, so that's a bad
Well, never
example.
mind. He's
But like
kind of one an
Alexander
early
the
example.
Great, everybody like worshipped that guy. You think when people saw him walking down the street, they weren't like, "Oh my god," and like trying to like get a look at him as he walked down the street? Of course they were. He was like a
The
god.
point is, this was probably a highly targeted phishing attempt. I've seen lots of phishing
Yeah.
attempts from Apple lately that are totally legit, except for one misspelling, like they'll write iTunes with a lowercase t or something, and it gives it all away. But that's not so obvious to everyone, right? So if they're being targeted specifically, they need to be super careful with this kind of stuff.
I mean,
like-
be realistic. Why do you need to have the naked pictures of you on your phone? Why do you need to carry
Because
them
the
around
phone
with you?
is your primary camera, and you've been taught by...
Are you saying why do you need to take naked pictures? Is that what you're saying?
No.
I
Why
don't-
do you need to take them and then carry them around on your phone with you everywhere you go? Why can't you just
No,
put them
so-
on your
so the
private
interesting
locked computer
thing-
at home and then leave
The
them
interesting
safely
thing
there?
about this, Dave, is not all the celebrities haven't said this out loud, but a couple of them have said, I deleted these photos within 5 minutes of taking them. So the problem is iCloud synced these things to their service, if what she said is true. She deleted them, and they were supposedly marked deleted on iCloud, but iCloud backed everything up so that if they ever wanted to undo that delete, they could get it. Which I suppose I could see if you delete a photo and then 6 months later you want it back.
Does iCloud
might be a
actually do
convenient
that, though?
feature,
Has
right?
anyone verified that?
Well, if you have iCloud backup turned on, it does back
Yeah.
up your phone, but that seems
But once you delete
a
it, it
stretch.
doesn't take it from...
Now, Scudderman, if you're taking or storing nude photos on an internet-enabled device, he says in the chat room, you're doing something wrong. And, you know, like, to a certain extent, yeah, but we haven't gotten that knowledge out there yet. And I think this is the big lesson that's going to be learned there, is basically nothing you have is secure if someone wants to get a hold of it. Nothing. Unless you really make an effort to lock it down. And the knowledge about how to lock it down isn't out there. And I think the bigger thing, though, is people weren't aware that this was even somewhat vulnerable. I really think they thought they were just using their private device to store a private moment. And you and I, Dave, you and I, James, might know that, of course, if it's syncing to a cloud service, someone might get at it. But to most people, I'm not sure that would ever occur. So maybe it's a matter of education. But the bigger thing here is we were promised that putting all of our stuff up on the cloud, putting everything that we own up on someone else's server, letting someone else take care of it, there's no problem there because they're going to do a better job at security than you would. You know what? You're right. If she was just, if people were taking private photos on an offline device and putting them on their computer directly on a folder that's not shared to the network, there's no chance this could have happened. None. You know?
Well,
It's
let's not be too harsh on iCloud here. That nobody broke into iCloud and stole things. They guessed
How
the
is that not
user's
what happened?
password. That's what happened. That's not a.
how is that not breaking in?
Well, they didn't
that
hack
is
Apple's
breaking
servers
due to
or
user
anything.
fault, though, not due to iCloud fault.
Well, that is how the majority
They pretended
of
to be
security
a user.
vulnerabilities
That's-
have occurred in the past 20 years. It's always this.
Well, exactly.
password.
That's why the cloud is secure. It comes down to the user's end. If you're not going to secure it, you.
So, all I'm saying is that we've been told through this wonderful marketing that the cloud's going to be just amazing because all your files are going to be in this cloud. But we haven't been told, at least not nearly enough, that, you know what? For that to work, your password better be pretty kick-ass. No 1, 2, 3, 4 giraffe isn't good enough. You know, there's so
Actually,
much
that's
conflicting
pretty
advice
good.
out there. What? 1, 2, 3, 4 giraffe is pretty good? Well, that's
pretty good.
'cause that's been my primary password for my Twitter account since 2009. Yeah. No, seriously.
1, 2, 3, 4 giraffe. Yeah,
I don't
that's
even
still
know how to
going to
spell
take 16
giraffe,
years.
So we at MakeUseOf.com launched a security section in the spring. And one of the things Christian, who's the editor there, is really trying to get across is to try to explain these kind of big picture security questions in terms that normal people can understand. And I think that's a really important mission, and I think incidents like this point out why, right? I bring this up a lot, but I think it's so funny. Sarah Palin, during the 2008 presidential election, there was a big news scandal then, right? About how her email account was hacked. Okay, she was doing a lot of, just some background, if you use your official government email address to coordinate with people, then that's public knowledge and you have to share it. So she was famously using her private email account to do some government business, so it would be off the record. And it was a Hotmail account, and someone wanted to get in. It was 4chan again, the same hacker named 4chan. Just saw that her security question is, when is my birthday? So we went over to Wikipedia, found Sarah Palin's birthday, done. That was literally all it took, okay? So here you've got these systems, and this is what I'm talking about, this balance between ease of use and security, right? Because I remember I built a website for someone once, and she didn't know what the password was for her domain hosting, right? Her domain name. She had no idea what this password was, and she was mad at the tech support guy for not just changing the password and emailing it to the new email address she just gave. She was furious at this guy, right? And you got to understand, okay, if you're running these tech support calls, you're facing people like this constantly who are mad. Well, I'm not paying you anymore. What am I paying you for? You can't change my password and email it to me right now? This is ridiculous. And I'm just sitting there in the background, well, you're paying me by the hour, and you've been unreasonably mad at me this whole time. So, you know, like, you're facing these infuriated people who just want everything to magically be connected to their brain and sync up, and it's an unreasonable expectation. Memorizing long passwords, I think, is a basic survival skill in society at this point, and crap like this is going to happen if you can't master it, okay? But we're not getting that point across. We're really not.
We should teach that in school.
Yeah.
As part of whatever the internet ethics thing is we're teaching nowadays. So one other thing that came out of this was, I thought was quite interesting, was that everyone on Reddit and 4chan who downloaded all these images, they're now up for child pornography charges, potentially, because some of the photos they stole were actually underage when they were taken.
Oh, that's a technicality.
Well, it's a technicality which they could easily be brought up on.
Huh.
I mean,
so wait.
Yeah.
So has Reddit been pretty... So in the past, when stuff comes up like this, they've been pretty quick to take stuff down.
Yeah, they've been pretty responsive on the subreddit. That is, what is it? That I'm not even going to say it. It's a stupid word, but
yeah,
apparently they've been pretty responsive.
It rhymes with happening.
Thank you. But yeah, everyone's kind of panicking there because they've downloaded these and they're like, well, yeah.
I feel bad because I don't know who most of the people who in the league were, except for Jennifer Lawrence. I'm apparently very out of the loop from who's famous nowadays, because I've never heard of any of those people. So in a way, I feel bad for them in that regard, because I don't even know who they are.
I had to look up who Jennifer Lawrence was.
Really? That's the only one I've heard of, because she won like an Oscar and stuff for that.
She won an Oscar?
What's it called? I saw the movie too. It was good.
The Hunger Games. Was it?
No. That's a movie she's in, but that's not what she won the Oscar for. It's Silver Linings Playbook.
Never heard of it. But anyway, I don't want to talk about celebrities.
She was in X-Men too, but whatever.
Celebrities suck.
I don't care about the celebrity angle here, but what it is it's a prominent example of the need for better security practices. And I think we, as a global internet, need to come up with something better than passwords. Passwords are not working. And I'm not sure two-factor authentication is going to be it for everyone either, but there's got to be something better than this. It's just too easy.
Fingerprints are the future.
Except you can fake that pretty easily. It would be a bit more effort.
Don't cut off my finger.
I would say just embed an RFID chip in everyone's brain.
What about retinal scanners?
Why brain? Why can't it go on my wrist? Why did you go straight to brain?
Just to cause you maximum pain, you know?
No, you're an ass.
What about retinal scanners? How do you feel about those? You scan your eyeballs?
Sure, I'd go for that. That's pretty expensive though, isn't it? A little chip embedded in your hand or something, that could work. And then we could use it as a government ID chip too.
A chip embedded in you sounds more expensive than a retinal scanner?
Are you talking about a retinal scanner for everyone's computer? Are you insane?
You know how cheap RFID chips are though? That's not that big.
Yeah, but you have to have the surgery to put it in you.
You can do that.
You can probably get like a, they do it with animals for the little chips where you track them if they're lost.
Yeah.
That's true.
It wouldn't be bad.
They do it for animals.
The bigger problem would be all the conspiracy theorists insisting that this is the mark of the beast.
Good. So let these conspiracy theorists have their nude photos taken until they accept it. Suck on that, guys.
I really want to dispel the notion that this is their fault, though. At the end of the day, the primary blame goes to the assholes who put in this much effort to hack those accounts and put them out there.
Well, that
You're
is
violating,
true.
Oh, it's not their fault,
violating
obviously,
someone's
but...
property. You're violating someone's body, really. It's a form of molestation, in my opinion. Like, this is extreme. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't look at those pictures either. You're
primarily the fault
yeah.
is the hackers, but second
Yeah.
fault falls to the user, and then I would say third fault falls to Apple.
And the people who are creating the rabid demand for these photos in the first place.
Yeah, but
at the end of the
gonna
day,
happen.
naked bodies aren't
gonna
that
happen.
different from each other. Like there's plenty of naked bodies on the internet. Just look at some of the ones of people who are willingly putting their stuff out there. There's lots of them. Stop obsessing over these individuals who just happen to be in movies you like. To the point
feel like
that you want to see it.
I can't pass blame to the random people on the internet who are looking at the pictures. They didn't put them out there. I have a hard time passing the blame onto them. There's celebrities that they like. The pictures are out there.
No, the blame is entirely on them. If they didn't create the demand, it wouldn't be profitable to do it.
There's a lot of blame to go around here. The whole thing's gross,
I don't really think it's profitable to anybody. Is anybody making money?
Yeah, they were selling packs of them. They were like, if I raise another $100, I'll release these images. That's where it all started. And then eventually they just filtered down.
One guy gave a PayPal address, so I'm sure authorities will be tracking that person down.
Yeah, how are they getting paid without...
So one guy put a PayPal address on 4chan, is my understanding, and another one put a Bitcoin wallet number, which is going to be a lot harder for authorities to track. Yeah, the guy who put up the PayPal address... Yeah. Not that bright. But you've no idea if these people, 4chan being what it is, you've no idea if the people saying, hey, donate to this and I'll release them, had anything to do with the photos or not. It could have been just a random person trying to make a few cents. And that's the thing with Anonymous, okay? Anonymous is completely decentralized. Anyone who claims to be part of Anonymous, and I gotta say, I'm unclear if this was Anonymous or not.
This didn't have anything to do with Anonymous, did it?
No, this was just people.
Just a group of 4chan hackers.
Yeah, sorry.
4chan lists everybody as Anonymous.
We apologize, Anonymous. We did not just accuse you of this. We did not do that. Do not hack us.
I'm surprised those Lizard Squad assholes weren't stepping up. I'm like, yeah, we did this shit too, motherfuckers. What? Yeah, we're Lizard Squad. Go on.
What I'm
Is this
surprised
a form
about
of molestation? Dave Parak is asking on the chat room. If you tweet at the Technophilia, I'll try to respond to you there because the chat room's still pretty dead, guys.
Yeah, I can't see new messages.
How is this a form of molestation? I don't follow that argument. And basically, you're forcibly gaining access to someone's body, a look at it, not touch, but forcibly gaining access to someone's body, private moments in their lives, without permission. And yeah, maybe not molestation in the literal definition of the word, but I think the end effect is the same in that you're going to be feeling pretty violated. I think it's pretty fair to say, James, Dave, if I somehow acquired naked pictures of you and put them up on Technophilia's Facebook page, I mean, you'd be pissed because our Facebook page would be taken down and it took us a while to build up that fan base, but you'd also be uncomfortable with this thought of these people looking at you naked.
I like how he says if he acquired, like I don't send them to him every day.
That was you this whole time? You're Nut Buddy 69? I hate you so much.
I know I didn't include the face, but I thought you'd at least get the hint after a while.
Oh, dude, I was wondering if we had enough stories this week. This one has taken up
Dude, why have Apple shares not gone down? Because if you look, they've actually rocketed up in like the last week. This hasn't done a damn thing to them, and that's what's really weird to me.
Well, the shares are going up because they just announced that they're going to announce.
Oh, right, I get it. So, basically no one cares about this. Is the
I love how
upshot.
that's the thing, though.
We have seen this with Facebook's share price. I mean, Facebook changes something. Activists momentarily get angry about privacy concerns, and then within a week, everyone else has been like, yeah, but I want to see pictures of my granddaughter, so I don't really know what this means, so I'm going to disregard it, right? Like, at the end of the day, every company in Silicon Valley, every company who runs something on the internet has learned a lesson from you, all of you, that you don't care about security, and you will not hold people accountable whatsoever if they screw up. This is the lesson you've taught them. And so, yeah, Apple's share price isn't going down because the market knows at this point that you don't care enough to switch to Android. You don't. So,
also, the iPhone 6 might be cool. You just
there's
don't
that
know.
too.
You just don't know.
So, I've been asking people to email me more often, kind of changing tracks here. And I got a lesson. I got a letter, sorry.
You got a lesson?
From someone. I got a letter, sorry. From Augusto Pinochet, which I believe is the name of a Chilean dictator. Anyways, he says he's from Louisville, Kentucky. And he wants to know, is the internet a fad? Now, I have to say, after this past week, with all of the dark shit that's happening on the internet, because this celebrity photo leak is just kind of the beginning of the misogyny rainbow, so far as I'm concerned, the past week. Yeah, it kind of seems like it's a fad. Kind of seems like we're killing it, guys. Kind of seems like we're screwing up the internet. What do you think? I think we're all going to switch back to newspapers and television by 2017. James?
I think it's just too early to tell. I'd say give it another 5 years and then ask me again if it's still around. Like, right now, you have to be a hobby, home-built computer enthusiast to really understand the World Wide Web and this electric mail, right? So, not so much of a
electronic
fad.
mail, kind of crazy. I keep hearing about these Twitters, which, I don't know, they put this crap at the bottom of my TV screen when I'm trying to watch the American Idol. And, yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't understand what it is, and I don't see how anyone could ever think that this is going to be meaningful for people. So, yeah, I think...
I found an article by Clifford Stoll from 1995, which is surprisingly still relevant today, and it's called "The Internet is a Fad, Why the Web Won't Be Nirvana," right? If I should just quote from that... This is a quote from the article, right? Right at the end, the conclusion. "What's missing from this electronic wonderland? Human contact. Discount the fawning techno-burble about virtual communities. Computers and networks isolate us from each other. A network chat line is a limp substitute for a meeting of friends over coffee. No interactive multimedia display comes close to the excitement of a live concert, and who'd prefer cybersex to the real thing? While the internet beckons brightly, seductively flashing an icon of knowledge as power, this non-place lures us to surrender our time on Earth. A poor substitute it is, this virtual reality, where frustration is legion, and where, in the holy names of education and progress, important aspects of human interactions are relentlessly devalued." Beautiful, huh?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I want to marry it.
So relevant today. Nothing's changed, huh?
Whoa, I just hit my microphone and almost knocked it across the room.
Don't do that.
Okay, so if you're listening to the live show right now and not catching it, Scouterman pointed out that you can use the hashtag Technophilia on Twitter. Someone else did use it 6 days ago, but you know what? We're claiming it as ours now. So hashtag Technophilia, that's the chat room. Join us there.
Okay.
I'll be monitoring it and bringing it up. You can also just tweet at the Technophilia, and I'll get it there too.
You can also tweet and send me your pictures.
James
With
has
clothes
expressed... We've got people expressing disappointment that you're not sending those photos to them, Dave. Maybe you need an Instagram account.
The check's in the mail. Just hack my iCloud account. Because I gotta have them on my phone to send them to Justin, and then from there, the sky's the limit, bros.
There you go. Yeah, I think this is going to be my new method. Yeah, just put a bunch of files in a Google Drive and be like, okay, here's my password. You can collaborate now.
Did someone else just start a show called Technophilia? How dare they?
Yeah, you saw that? It sounds like the first episode of Technophilia is
what the hell?
Now out. Well, it's not like we have any type of copyright or anything on it.
Dude, send them a takedown request. That is ridiculous. Get out of it.
Plus, there was already something called Technophilia before us. It was like
there was a column on Lifehacker called Technophilia 5 years before us. Yeah.
Whatever this is called, it's on Poncho.tv. What the?
Why are we talking about this? It's a hashtag.
Because they've stolen our damn name.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
Go ahead. Get to that.
Wow, their website is slower
Anyways.
than dirt.
What we don't know if the internet's a fad or not, but Iran's Grand Ayatollah says that high-speed internet, specifically high-speed, not dial-up, is, quote, against moral standards. And, looking at the past week, you can make a pretty good argument for that, but I don't know. I don't want to get into an argument with the Grand Ayatollah. If he wants to come on the show, he can. You're welcome to. But, I think you're kind of blaming tools here for human nature. anyways, don't know what else to add to that. Just thought it was interesting. And if it is a fad, he's got nothing to worry about, right? So I suggest he just wait this one out. Allow high-speed internet now, but there's no way good Muslims will use it, so you've got nothing to worry about there. Just don't worry about it. That's my advice.
Do you think the internet
James?
will actually ever go away?
I don't know. I mean, it's certainly fracturing. It used to be much more of a global internet in that everyone had the same experience of the internet in one country as they did in another. And now a lot of sites, Hulu, Netflix, are prominent examples, but there's certainly a lot of other sites too, are fundamentally different if you're in one country and if you're in another. And if you're in China, the internet's completely different because all the tools people know and love the rest of the world, like YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, are blocked, and there's basically Chinese versions of that. So
that's like...
the
TV bleeding into internet, because TV is different everywhere, and that's TV bleeding into internet and then coming
it's kind of so it is fracturing. So I don't think I could see the internet as we experience it now as a way to interact with people in other free democratic countries will go away in those free democratic countries, assuming those countries stay free and democratic, right? But I think you're going to see more and more splinter internets. Iran's talked about developing their own, basically, Sharia internet in the past.
Good.
And,
Get them off our
might see
internet.
more... What's up?
Good. Get them off them. Get them off our internet. We'll have them back.
Why can't they be on our internet?
There's too much porn.
What's up with that?
There's too
What?
much porn.
They're not the ones making the porn. Or what are you saying?
No, there's too much porn on the internet. They might start raping their computers because that's what they do when they see female flesh, right?
Oh my goodness! Really, this is where we're going?
Oh, I'm
James
sorry.
is
Let's
racist.
move on. I'm racist?
Yeah,
Well, at least I'm not sexist.
you're sex racist.
Book's still out on that. Well, you throw around the word racist like it's a pack of Skittles, dude. Like you...
Wait a second. I would never
What?
throw a pack of Skittles.
No, that would be
Everyone's a
complete waste.
racist. Yeah,
We
No,
should
that's
totally
true. You
move
keep your
on.
Skittles
This
close to
is
your
the-
vest.
You get
Yeah.
some racism. You get some racism.
Oh my-
You get some racism.
Who cares what this guy who believes in fairies says? Move on.
Ah, whatever. He just has power over one of the greatest countries in the Muslim world, but whatever. Irrelevant. Let's move on to the Ukraine, where Facebook users are sick of their accounts being blocked because of political statements they've made, mostly in support of the government in Kiev. Now, apparently, there's a moderator for the whole region who's in Russia, and he's decided that everyone who makes statements in support of the government in Kiev is being offensive. Now, to be fair, according to polling, 75% of people in Russia believe that Kiev is a fascist government on par with the Nazis, so maybe he sincerely is offended that anyone would think differently from him on this one. The propaganda effort in Russia has been spectacular in convincing people on this point. I mean, support for Putin is off the charts, even though he's not really doing anything competently at home. He invaded another country, and that's just wonderful. so far
Quick
as
question.
I'm
Why
concerned
is
there.
someone
What's up?
from Russia controlling Ukrainian Facebook?
I don't know, but the Ukrainian Facebook users are writing Zuckerberg directly about this. It might be the Russian-speaking
So random.
section of Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm not totally sure on the details here. You can read the article to find out a bit more. But
James
anyways,
can't
these people
read.
are so ticked about this. Now, Russia famously has an army of trolls that does the government bidding. If you write an article criticizing Russia anywhere, you're going to get a whole bunch of people within minutes writing all about how wrong you are and how ignorant you are and how Russia's so great. So, it's not unreasonable to see something like this happen. It might be bots. The problem is, the moderation needs to be better. And Facebook has promised the world that it's giving people an open platform. And I criticize them for a lot of things, but for the most part, they've been pretty consistent on this, giving people a way to speak freely, even if that means their service being blocked in a given country. So we'll see. I'm sure that this is just a weird situation, an oversight, and that it'll get sorted out. But yeah, pretty freaky. Dave, do you filter your Facebook to get certain views?
Yeah,
Out
I
of sight?
delete anybody
Yeah.
that doesn't agree with me.
Mm-hmm.
So you've been deleted a long time ago. Sorry, bro.
Really?
I do too. They're obviously idiots if they disagree with me.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Yeah,
That's a
that's
given.
kind of how you see the world, isn't it? Wow.
What?
That is how I see it.
When you really summed up, if people disagree with me, they're idiots. You never learn if you have that point of view. That's the problem. The other people have that same point of view, and as such, you never learn anything from each other, and you will forever be stuck in that cycle.
What am I going to learn from people who are wrong? Moving on.
You might learn that you're wrong, but never mind.
Come on, that's... Yeah. Okay, we're just going to talk about fantasy here. All right, go ahead.
James has never been wrong in his life.
It's true, he has.
No, that's incorrect. There was this time about 7 years ago, I think.
7 years ago, you were wrong about something?
Yeah, I can't forget. It was a minor thing.
I think you predicted that Nintendo would be making games for the iPhone by 2012, but never mind. I'm sure that...
Maybe I predicted that they should have done.
No, that's not what you said. You said that they will. You've been wrong about stuff, James. Yeah, anyways. Microsoft is refusing to hand over emails to the U.S. government. Now, this has been an ongoing court case for a while. The emails in question might be by American citizens, might not, but the point is they are stored outside the U.S. Now, the court has at one point said, you're an American company. If we request this information, you need to hand it over. And they said, no, it's not stored on U.S. soil. Therefore, we're not liable to hand it over to you. We don't have to. We're not going to do this until you get the appeal going through. So we don't take enough time to commend Microsoft when they do good things on this show. I've heard this in the past. Kudos. Now to tell us why this is actually bullshit, not that big a deal, is James Bruce. James?
Well, I was going to say, if I could put on my tinfoil hat for a change,
yeah,
I think this is a total facade. Like,
okay,
if the US government truly wanted these emails, there are any number of ways they could get them, right? We've all established that by now. So,
yeah,
presumably this is just a PR stunt to make people believe that the companies are actually keeping our data safe, so they can just go in and take them anyway, right?
Wait, you're saying that the US government is working with these companies on a fake court case that's costing the company and the government like hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, just to make some kind of point. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay.
Stupider things have been done, right?
6 years ago, I would have been like, "You're crazy," but ever since this NSA stuff, oh man, I don't even know. I don't even know. This, I can't believe how much the NSA has damaged people.
Nothing on the internet is secure anymore. Why? This is not news. I think what's more interesting, actually, is that this week someone discovered a bunch of cell phone towers, like hundreds of cell phone towers across America, which were performing man-in-the-middle attacks, and they're just outside of U.S. Army bases.
So you found this amazing story, and you think this isn't news, and we should be talking about that. You know, we have a process in place here, wherein you,
I think it was just related,
can
so
decide
I
what we talk about. Why isn't this in the outline, dude?
I didn't have a link, but you can look it up. Cell phone towers, man in the middle, outside army bases. And what are you betting? These are actually like government-sponsored NSA things for sucking up all the cell phone data from everywhere around.
But they're also giving people free cell phone access in the meantime. Can I get on one of these?
I don't think they are. I think they're just sucking them up in the middle. They're not actually replicating anything. They're just being dirty about it.
There's got to be a way to connect to that to get a mobile data plan without having to actually pay for it. I don't know. Oh, so Dave, let's say we have a trade here, okay? You get free cell phone plans, right? Minutes.
Yes.
But the U.S. government has the full rights to look at absolutely everything. Do you do it?
That's fine with me. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'd do it.
That right there is why privacy's dead. Because most people would sooner have something more convenient
free
or
internet.
cheaper than...
I don't do anything that would be concerned, so they can see whatever they want.
So people don't care about any kind of bigger principles. I think this is generally true if you were to poll people. Really come down to it. Free internet, but you have no privacy. I think a majority of people would take it.
Well, actually, not on my home internet, though. Not on my home internet.
Well, there's a telling admission.
I mean, I can't download all these Linux files without without some privacy. I don't want them to see how many different distros I'm using.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing. It's worse than having my nudes leaked.
Yeah, that's true. You don't want anyone knowing about your Linux habit, your extensive Linux habit.
Yeah, I don't. I keep Linux off my phone though. It's just iOS, so it's okay over there.
Okay, so that's not a problem.
Yeah.
Moving right along, let's go on to the gaming news, lady and gentlemen.
Lady
and gentlemen.
That's accurate. Jess is the only lady, so.
Well, you know what? We just got a female giving us a story idea before the show, so
Impossible.
not necessarily. Impossible. Oh man, let's move on to the confusing mess that is Nintendo's naming of the new 3DS XLLLX. What? Is that a joke?
Yes,
Sorry,
that is a
I
joke.
lied about that.
It is not really that many X's.
It's
and
the LL.
L's.
It's the new
Okay.
3DS LL and the new 3DS XL. Am I correct? I think I'm correct. See, it's not that difficult.
No, I think it's just the new 3DS and the new 3DS LL.
So
Is that bigger
Nintendo
than an
has
XL?
gotten into a bad using the word new in terms of names for stuff ever since New Super Mario. It was stupid then because that game's 10 years old now and as such not new.
Well, when the
And it's
first new
stupid for
Super
a
Mario
console.
came out, it made sense because it was taking the old Mario formula and
Yeah.
making it modern. But when it was New Super Mario Brothers 3 or whatever, then it doesn't make sense because it's,
So, point is, they've done this before, and now they're doing it again. They're using new in the name of a product, so meaning if you want to buy a used version of this product, you have to call it a used new Nintendo 3DS XL,
LL.
which is just crazy. Whatever. This is awful.
It's
This
not
is
even
so bad.
the name. The name is very minor in the grand scheme of what I think they screwed up here. What the problem is that they're like basically doing a generational shift. So they're moving to new hardware
Right.
with a new processor, but not a full generational shift. It's just like, well, some games will only support the new hardware, but most games will support the
Well,
old
it is a
one too.
full generational shift, really, isn't it? Because it's backwards compatible, which is kind of what
But
generations
it's not,
are nowadays.
because they're still making games that work with the old one. Like if it was a full generational shift, like the Xbox 360 is dead. You know what I mean? Like there would be a couple games coming forward for the next year, but it's dead. Same with the PlayStation 3. The 3DS and the 3DS XL are still very much alive. They're not like saying like we're moving on. They're like we're having this in addition. So some
So
games.
wait, they're going full Sega here, aren't they? They're going full Sega. They're like, okay, we're going to give you this little addition to the 3DS that's a little different, but you can still run all the old games, but you're going to have some games that only run on this one. It's like the confusion with the Sega CD in the decline of that company. I hate this
I
metaphor.
think
as
Polygon
much as
said
everyone
it
else
best.
does, but-
They said retailers are going to have a hard time explaining that there's a system called the 3DS that plays this subset of 3DS games, but not all the 3DS games. Customers will glaze over before they get to the part where if they want to play every 3DS game, they'll need to buy the latest model, which comes in two sizes, or that their existing 3DS merely plays most 3DS games, as does the 2DS, because the 3DS is a bit faster. What?
This is a mess, guys.
And to be
This
fair,
is a
most of the
mess.
people who work at like GameStop wouldn't even know that much to explain that. So they would just be
Yeah.
like, play some fucking portable games. You want yeah, just get the cheapest one.
How did
Sign
they
up
not
for an
learn
Edge
from the
card,
Wii U?
you get a discount, something. I don't know. I work at GameStop. I'm stupid there. I
How
don't know follow
completely
GameStop.
inept are the product design and marketing board at Nintendo? Like, what the hell are they being paid to do?
I don't know, because the one thing Nintendo had going for them that was working fine was the DS. And now they're fucking that up too. I don't understand. This was like, the DS was like their buoy that was floating in their big giant ocean that they're drowning in. And they're like, well, we still got a grip on this thing, so we'll be fine. And now they're just like, nah, fuck it, let's stab that buoy with a knife, and now we'll just float and wait for the sharks to come eat us. Like,
Wow.
I don't understand what they're doing over there, but whatever. That's their problem. So,
I'm surprised that someone got paid to do. Like, think about this. Someone's job was to think of a new name.
Yeah.
That's what
You know
they
what?
got paid
And they
£60,000
probably got
a
paid-
year to do.
My
Probably
only
more
guess,
than that.
James,
Probably like
is that this
a million.
name is really awesome in Japanese.
No, it's not.
Okay, I mean that's all I got, dude. That's all I got.
They're probably
maybe,
actually
like-
using the English in Japanese to make it cooler.
Yeah, so they don't know it sounds dumb because it just sounds like a
The
bunch
new
of cool English words.
3DS.
Yeah.
Although to be
Yeah.
fair, the new 3DS does sound like a nice piece of hardware.
No, so the
It's got a
device itself
joystick,
sounds
whatever.
good. What's different about it? I've been confused about
It's
this.
got a second little joystick nub, so you can play like shooters that require 2 joysticks. It's
God,
not
I
like
hate
a
those
full
joysticks. They're not even a joystick. They're like those nipple things that you get on laptops.
Well,
Ugh!
this one, yeah,
In
it's
the
like
90s?
the second one looks a lot like the IBM thing, but it's still better than no
Terrible.
second joystick. And they're also improving the way the 3D works, where if you move it, it won't. You know, like normally on a 3DS, you have to like have it perfectly still in front of you, or else the 3D goes wonky. Apparently, it'll be
Yeah.
better at adjusting to your movement. It has a better processor in it, which is like that's where the generational shift comes in.
I don't know, man. This is really confusing.
Oh, and NFC for those Nintendo Amiibo toys that they're putting out that are like the competitors with Skylanders.
Oh, okay. Well, to be fair, those are a friggin' cash cow if you get it going.
Yeah. And
And
if anybody can
Skylanders
get
has
it
kind of
going-
dropped the gauntlet by moving over to tablets, which is kind of...
And
Yeah.
Disney Infinity too. So those are like the big 3 bullshit toys things.
Yeah, where you end up paying $1,000 to play what would have been a $60 game.
Not
in any
even,
other
because
era.
most of them are
Yeah.
shitty games. They're not like
Yeah.
the video game parts of them. At least that's the one thing Nintendo might do right. At least like the video game parts of it might actually be okay.
Yeah, yeah, you know, the games might be good. Yeah, that would be an improvement over most of these such things. I don't know what you're doing anymore, Nintendo.
I don't know.
I know it's hard.
I always
know
want
it's
to give
hard
them the
out there.
benefit of the doubt and be like, they know what they're doing. But this time, I really
don't.
don't think they do. I really
They
think
don't.
they're just like, let's just throw some shit out there. And the DS was doing fine. Just keep make a bigger one if you want. Like, the same
Yeah.
model, but just make like
The
an
3DS,
XXL.
3XL, XX,
Yeah,
XXLX.
but keep the same like hardware standards and stuff. Like, and if you it's just bigger, whatever. Like
The
that's-
3DS laptop.
If you're gonna be this confusing, I mean, your core audience are people, I think, who own a PC, really like PC gaming, want to get a few of the exclusive games that they can't get on the PC. Like, just open an alternative to Steam at this point. Like, just say, you know what, we're doing this. We're going in full built. If you want
How about
Mario, you have to
sort
use
your
this
digital
Steam
shit
alternative.
out? Because that's
What?
crap.
Yeah.
Sort their digital shit out.
Yeah.
I think what
I don't know.
Nintendo really should do is the thing that was rumored like 6 months ago, where they released the one console that is the Fusion was the rumored name. That's the home
Yeah.
and the portable console, and like it has like the Wii U type gamepad, but the Wii U gamepad is actually like a portable DS, so it's one device and it's portable and it's a home console and it does everything. That would be cool.
I would buy the shit out of a 15-inch Nintendo DS.
I bet you would. With Oculus support.
Totally! Oh my god!
Google Cardboard.
Yeah, but you don't
support.
like any of those Nintendo games, so what would you do with it once you bought
I
it?
used to have not a 3DS, a DS. I had a DS for a long time.
So we were getting a lot of questions about nipples on laptops, and it was mostly. I just want to clarify here. These things were mostly on ThinkPads back in the day.
Yeah,
They're
it's an
mostly
IBM
like early
thing.
2000s. They would be between like the G, H, and B keys.
God,
kind
they
of
were
right
annoying.
there. And it was like a little mouse thing. You moved it. It was really sensitive to touch, right?
Yeah, they were.
And, yeah.
they
I
were
never met
garbage.
anyone who said, "Wow, I really love that pointing device."
I have. Some people really liked them. They were really
Yeah,
precise.
I've met people who
No
liked
way.
them too. People
Yeah,
who had
yeah.
those things, like their company gave them one of them. They actually
Yeah.
liked them. I always thought they were garbage, but
The ThinkPad for a long time was basically the equivalent of the MacBook Pro. Like
The
it was
business
just
laptop, yeah.
the really solid laptop you can get that's actually worth
Yeah,
the
yeah.
money and isn't going to fall apart. And a lot of people really liked the ThinkPad, and they were right to. It was a tank of a machine, and it was I don't know why they really liked that. It's sometimes called the clit too. I've never heard an appropriate name for it.
yeah, I think the nipple is
Yeah.
is a nicer sound.
Probably a little better.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was an XKCD about what you call it.
I always just called it like when I wanted to be like appropriate. I just called it the little nub. Because I didn't want to be like to my mom.
Oh
be
yeah,
like, hey
it's
mom,
XKCD
laptop's got a nipple.
243. It has a chart how to refer to the pointer thing on laptop keyboards, and the formal one is to call it the track point style pointer. If you're a little more casual, you call it the nub.
Yeah, I'm not the only one
A
who called
little
it the
more
nub.
casual, you'd call it the nipple mouse, and then the clit was the least formal.
Nice. I'm
version
glad
of
I'm not
that,
the only
yeah.
one who called it the nub.
Yeah. Definitely, but those things are frustrating. So I guess Nintendo's getting in on this technology. So good for them. Anyways, let's move right along. I don't know how long we've been going. I forget when we started. Should we do our pause, guys?
Do we need to?
No, fuck the pause. Just keep going.
Okay.
It worked. It was so much easier for me to edit it last week without the pause. So we'll just.
Okay, moving right along. I just wanted to get a quick correction out there because we talked about Zoe Quinn a couple weeks ago. I know we're all sick of this, but we said various other things. I had no idea what anyone was talking about during the conversation, but it was said that she slept with someone in exchange for a positive review. The person in question never wrote about the game Depression Quest. This is complete bullshit. Whatever else you think about this story, that point is disproved. Now, why do narratives like this keep popping up? I don't even want to get into this. I'm so depressed by the gamer thing recently. I tweeted it earlier this week. If you play games, you're a gamer. Let's get the identity out of this thing. But you can't really detach questions of identity from anything. But I don't know why there's this reflex to go after people who are making free games that some people like. If you don't like it, don't play it. There's a whole internet out there. If you don't like that tech sites or gaming sites are bored with reviewing the same old thing from time to time and sometimes want to try to attempt something more meaningful, don't read those articles. No one's making you read those articles. And you can start your own gaming site in like 5 minutes. James Bruce did it, and he's an idiot. So
I think people hate her because people are male and they're threatened by a female who behaves exactly like they do. She's strong and sexually active, right?
Yeah. Well, no, there's definitely an element of slut-shaming to this whole thing, and I don't even want to get into that, But...
Damn, Technophilia this week is so full of scandal and rumors and salacious bullshit, huh?
Yeah, you're right, but I just really wanted to correct this thing, because we kind of implied that she did sleep with someone in exchange for a review, and that never happened.
Although you should not... Game makers generally shouldn't sleep with people who write about games in general. It's just kind of...
Really?
That's pretty standard. You don't generally sleep with people who may or may not be covering your products.
You usually, as a matter of habit, end up in relationships with the people you work with and around, okay? And if you're a gaming journalist, you're going to end up, in addition to talking to these people in official capacities, socializing with them. And you need to be professional about it, but you can't just say, no gaming journalist should ever get in a relationship with anyone else. That's none of your damn business.
I mean, at some point he may cover one of her games, and then it kind of makes things sketchy.
He won't.
Oh, come on,
because
no journalist
any
is
journalist
impartial.
worth his salt wouldn't review a game of someone he's been involved with. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but the website might assign him to it, and they may not know he did it. Now they know, but I'm sure when he slept with her, he didn't call his boss at Kotaku and say, hey, everyone, I just want you to know I slept with Zoe Quinn, so
you're completely speculating here. You're assigning a narrative. And that's
I'm just saying, I think that
like,
generally PR people and people who make games should not have relationships with the people who cover games.
And I think that's unreasonable because relationships happen because of proximity, and that's going to happen. You have this is a question in journalism. This is not just a question in video games. It's a question in politics, right? There was the one of the co-hosts of NPR's Morning Edition stepped down a couple years ago because her husband got a job with the Obama campaign. You have to work these things out. It's very complex, right? It comes up in every field, and yeah. If you've had a relationship with someone, or if you're currently in a relationship with someone, you can't review their stuff. But the point is here, people were freaking out as though this guy had reviewed her stuff, and he hadn't. What he had done is mentioned her in an article that wasn't even a review for a game. It was just about something else completely, like a couple years before the relationship happened. I might be wrong about that. I'm going to be precise here, but I just don't know why this thing exploded. I don't know what's going on right now. And I think the people who are taking their time to spread rumors and mistruths about people should maybe just put a little bit more of their time to playing all the Steam games that they bought over the summer and have been sitting in their queue unplayed, and a little less time doing this shit online. Because no one's taking away your video games but you right now. You're the one deciding to do this stupid crap instead of playing games. Just play games, man. It's a hobby. Let's relax. Let's calm down. We all get to keep playing. It's going to be fun.
So Scudderman just mentioned in the chat that I wanted to talk about. He said, "Did you hear about the tropes versus women in video games?" And I was going to say, on a related note, I finally watched that video, the violence and women and in video games as a background, and I kind of who's it by? Anita
Sarkeesian.
Yeah.
She's been doing this for a long time, for years without incident before she started doing video games, and then she decided she wanted to do video games, and the internet collectively lost its shit and has been losing it ever since.
Have you seen her video? Have you seen this video?
I've watched all of her videos. I am a fan.
Well, I found myself both like strongly agreeing and disagreeing with her in like equal measure. I mean,
Did you send her a threatening email?
No, it's surprising. I didn't threaten to rape her at all. I don't know what happened.
That's really surprising, because it seems like about half of the male population, that seems to be what happens. No, so here's the thing. Like, you can disagree with her, and you can have legitimate complaints about it, but at this point, all the legitimate complaints are being completely overlooked because of these people. Like, I was saying this to my wife the other day. When someone says, you know what, there's a bit of a culture of sexism in video gaming, the proper response isn't, shut the fuck up, bitch, and make me a sandwich. Like, you're not making a compelling counter-argument when you say that. You know, like, that is not... It reminds me of sometimes, like, someone in the West will make a comic that implied, like, you know what, Islam has a history of violence, and a bunch of people respond, Islam's not violent, I'll kill you for saying that. Like, you're not helping your point by saying that, you know? You're really not. This is a really stupid way to react. It's so I kind of see the same thing there.
It made me think, why don't we have more strong female characters abusing weak males in games? That's something I'd love to see. Like, let's have a bit of domestic abuse with women throwing things at men just to even things out a bit, you know? Like, maybe get some more dominatrixes pegging their gimps in games. That would be cool. That would even things out, right?
There's one of those in Dota. There's Queen, her name is Queen of Pain.
Awesome. That's good.
So here's a common strategy of people who are... So I'm not saying I agree with every point she makes or that she's completely fair with everything she does. But a common strategy is to find... It reminds me of creationists, right? If you've... I don't know if you're too familiar with the creationist so-called debate. It's not... They find one thing in evolution that they think they've proven is wrong. And because they've done this, they think that they've completely proven that evolution's wrong, right? They're like, what about this study in 1964?
It's so complex. How could it ever have arisen from random?
This is what they're doing, right? They're ignoring the central thesis, and they're just... Yeah.
I hope you're not saying that's what I'm doing. I genuinely think we should see more...
No, that's not what I'm saying you're doing.
All
I'm
right.
saying, like, I don't understand where the overreaction's coming from. And I wish more people could have a conversation like we're having right now and not have to talk about... Dave P. on Twitter is taking what I just said out of context. I bet you someone's going to make a friggin' meme with my face of that now. Great. What have I done?
She also quotes this stat that 1 in 5 American women will be raped at some point in their lives. Like, wow. That's a horrendous fucking number. I had no idea it would be so high.
It's really bad.
Is that really? Like, honestly?
I have no idea. It's so hard to verify rape numbers because every state...
But I bet you that's including, like, statutory and... You know, like the weird cases where it's like...
Statutory rape is rape, straight up. That's...
Yeah, but a lot of those cases are 100% consensual, and it's just...
Either way, that terrified me. I don't buy the argument that video games have anything to do with this at all. I think...
No, well... Okay.
Okay, let me finish. I think...
Go ahead.
By the time boys play video games, and they see all this, these ideas have already been totally ingrained into them. Like... It's a cultural attitude that we raise our young boys with. We pigeonhole them into this male stereotype. Boys don't wear dresses. Boys don't play with dolls. Boys don't like pink. Boys are strong. They play sports. They dominate women. And so they play into it, and they grow up believing women are the weaker sex, and that women are the ones to look pretty and be sexualized. And then the presence of that in video games is not a cause. It's just a manifestation of the attitudes of the little boys who are making the video games, right? Perhaps if we raise children without some preconceived ideas of gender, then this would disappear.
This has been a question since rock music. This has been a question since video games started being a thing in the 90s, certainly. We started hearing these questions. And I think a lot of people are unfairly saying that Anita Sarkeesian is saying that these video games directly cause all this stuff to happen. Okay, I think that they're unfairly thinking that she is some kind of 21st century. Was it Jack Welch or whatever his name was? This crazy lawyer who tried to get video games banned because they were causing people to become violent.
Yeah.
Jack Trenton. Jack Welch was the CEO of GE. I'm an idiot. I just slandered him. Anyways.
Good job.
Same era. Was in the news around that same time. Close enough, right, guys?
Sure.
I think that's... I mean, she is so careful in these videos to say, like, okay, criticizing something does not mean you're saying the thing is bad. You can still enjoy a game and admit that there's, like, harmful aspects to it. And they're saying, like, yeah... It's unfair how... the extent she's being interpreted to. Do I agree with everything she says? No. But, this is what media criticism is. And media criticism was one of my majors in college. And there's lots of different ways you can look at a piece of media. You can look at a piece of media from a Marxist point of view, right? And if you're looking at something from a Marxist point of view, you're going to point out the various ways in which this piece of media backs up the capitalistic worldview and unfairly persecutes the working class. Like, does that mean...
Well, hang on.
That if someone makes a YouTube channel and starts talking about video games from a Marxist point of view, that we need to just attack them constantly? Like, looking at any piece of media from a particular point of view is a valid intellectual exercise. And we've been saying for a long time that video games are art and should be taken seriously as a medium. And now that this is happening, and now that the results of what happens when you do that is going on, and we're not even talking about it happening on NBC or CNN. It's just someone with the YouTube channel. That's it, right?
Well, wait, I think
people are mad,
if you're saying she's being misinterpreted, well, then I'd say that's her fault for making something that's easy to misinterpret. Maybe there's a different way of explaining it.
No disagreements there, right? There's always three things with a piece of communication, right? 3 points of view. There's what you intended to say, there's what you actually said, and there's how different people interpret what you said, right? And those three things are really different, and one of the key things in communication that you want to try to do is bridge that gap, make the difference between these three things as small as possible. And you could argue that she's having a difficult time with that, and I think it's because the worldview is so drastically different. But at the same time, coming back to the creationist example, like, no matter what you say, these people are going to misinterpret what you said because they've got a predetermined ideological point of view. And they think they're right. They think they're the ones who are being rational. And they think they're the ones who are being unfairly misunderstood. So, yeah.
I've never read or watched anything that she's ever said, so I don't know anything about this.
You should, because she raises a lot of good points.
You'll enjoy it.
I don't care. I just like to play video games.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And you know what? Like I said before, if you enjoy playing games, you're a gamer. There's just this fear out there, so far as I can tell. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm completely off base. But it seems like people are afraid that all of this criticism is going to somehow result in video games going away. And I do want all of your games to go away. I'm personally going to take them all away, but I don't think Anita wants to do that. Yeah.
Can we call the show Make Me a Sandwich?
Please, no.
How about
Anyways,
Justin,
right along.
Make me a sandwich?
There have been so many instances of people just getting harassed until they can't take it anymore and having to get off the internet in the past couple of weeks. Zoe Quinn has been putting up with so much crap, and I think her response has been just stoic. I don't know. Anita Sarkeesian, I don't know if I would have dealt with all of the taunting the way she does, but if you're getting that much crap, I'd probably retweet a bit of it too. She retweets a lot of the hate she gets. I don't know. What's a good way to respond to this? Most people would say turning off comments on YouTube isn't, but that's what PewDiePie did. Why? Why do you turn off comments? I don't understand. Is this related? Is this kind of like an abuse situation? Or
no,
what?
It's not. It's nothing to do with
spam and
abuse.
bullshit.
Yeah, it's just his comment section is. He said it just filled people like, check out my channel and blah blah blah, just self-advertising, and people who are like also saying like PewDiePie fans are stupid, and then his fans like fuck you, and then blah blah blah. So he's like, it's all stupid. He's like, when I was a small channel, I could use the comments to interact with my fans, but it doesn't work that way anymore. So
I completely agree. I think the entire internet should have comments turned off.
But YouTube is all like YouTube is. So I've never seen a worse comment section than
YouTube.
Internet.
There is a Chrome extension you can download. I don't know what it's called.
It replaces Reddit.
But it replaces the YouTube comments with Reddit. This is. I think this is a great idea.
I don't understand. Why are people who like? what is the demographic of the average YouTube commenter that they're all so stupid? I don't understand.
They're angry.
But they're also stupid. Like, everything is always spelled wrong. You know what I mean?
You see, the problem here, Dave, is that when you have your own little group of friends, you tend to be selective. And when you go on the internet at large, you realise that actually 99% of the population are fucking idiots.
Well, that's
just a fact. That's a science fact right there.
And I guess YouTube is just so big that it just draws everybody. Not
so
just
back
the
in the
smart
day,
users.
one of my favorite YouTube shows, and it's problematic for a lot of reasons, but it was also a lot of fun, was called 5-second films. And they would just make really stupid films that were 5 seconds, usually funny, sometimes not, but they'd do one of these every weekday. And at the end of the week, they would do the comments of the week, where they would dramatically read comments. And it was amazing. They had a lot of fun picking out the gibberish ones, and it was one of my favorite things about that whole channel, because it would be just them hanging out and reading these things. But it's just incredible. People who take the time to reach out and say something, and they don't bother to, like, make sure that the ideas they're expressing are coherent. I don't know what happened. So I could see turning off YouTube comments. It's been crap. Google hasn't made it any better with their ranking algorithm. It used to be whichever comment was most recent would be at the top, and whichever one got a few thumbs up would be kind of pinned to the top. Since the Google Plus transition, it's now like whichever comment gets the most responses goes to the top. So half the time this means someone says something really trollish and terrible, and then everyone responds to them in anger, and then now that's the most popular thing according to this ranking algorithm. So Google comments is not better because of the Google Plus transition. It's if anything worse, which is quite an accomplishment. Google, way to go. I didn't think it was possible to make it better. Yeah. The Nerdcubed YouTube channel, Scudderman is saying on Twitter, has had comments turned off since the big Google Plus scandal. He uses Reddit for now. I think a lot of YouTube channels have subreddits and kind of really recommend their actual fans to have the conversations over here. And I think the voting mechanism is a big part of that. It's a lot easier for the users to sort out the crap comments and focus on the actual good conversations. Does PewDiePie have a subreddit?
That's what he said.
Probably.
He's going to switch over to start using Reddit. Yeah. I know Total Biscuit, another popular YouTube gaming person, a little more serious than PewDiePie, turned off his stuff too, and that was a long time ago. He turned his comments off and switched over to just Reddit.
So it's been recently revealed that Reddit isn't profitable right now. Okay, this is it was in the New York Times a couple months ago, I think. Yeah, they're not profitable right now. All that users, but they barely show any ads, and they don't show any context-sensitive ads. Like they don't track what you put on Reddit in order to monitor what kinds of ads you'd like to see. They don't do any of that.
Well, that's stupid.
They see it as an ethical thing, but they don't do it. Okay, because they think they realize they've got this community, and the community is their main asset. But if
so they're not making money. Well, so you're right.
Anyways, coming back to my point is Reddit has solved the comments problem. Straight up. Like, Reddit is a good alternative to YouTube comments. I think they have. And what I'm saying is Reddit should start selling the ability to embed comments on pages. I think sites would pay for this functionality.
How is that any different to just voting up or down and then hiding things using, like, Discuss or something? Like, is there something particular about Reddit that you think's better?
Maybe you could implement a system that's similar to Reddit, but I've never seen one work as well. And just having it hosted somewhere else, having it be a brand that a lot of people already trust. The anonymous thing might make it not ideal for some sites, but I really think they've developed a lot of expertise in developing communities where stuff is sorted organically. I mean, there's some crap subreddits, usually when they get too big, right?
See, now I was going to say when they're too small, because there's not enough people to vote up and down comments, so you just end up with crap. But then when they're too big, also they're messy, right?
But when they're small, there's not a lot of idiots there. It's only people who actively seek out
I think this is a universal rule of internet communities. It's really hard to manage it. And Reddit, I think, has managed this. I mean, Dig had collapsed by now.
I mean, Dig is... I still use Dig Reader as my RSS reader.
Really?
Dig exists.
What? That's the title of the show. This man uses Dig.
Nothing came of it.
I messed with Feedly, and then all that stuff happened with Feedly's security breaches, so I switched to Dig Reader, and I've been using it ever since. It's a great RSS reader.
Huh.
But does it sync to your actual client?
It's
You mean you
just
use
like
the web
old
client?
Google one was.
You view
Just
it on the
this
web,
morning.
right? That sucks.
What?
You view it on the web, though. It doesn't give you a syncing target or anything.
Oh, you and your friggin' anti-web app.
Yeah,
I
no,
hate
it's,
web apps, dude. I just
it's
can't
not a.
stand
It's
them.
just a URL I go to, dig.com/reader.
Right, but you can't put it on your phone on an app. You have to go to a website, right?
There's a dig reader app.
Oh, okay,
I have
fair
it.
enough. Is there a desktop app? I'll go with that.
I'm gonna go ahead and say probably not a desktop app.
But does it have an
Dismiss
open
it.
protocol so you can sync it? Let me check my read kit.
Where did it go? Oh, here it is. I got the app right
Probably
here.
doesn't.
Dig reader app. See, and here's my dig reader app. Da-doom, da-doom.
It's just a
reader.
Now I know
web
your
interface. It doesn't
Okay.
actually... Right, anyway.
And then you go and you can pull it out and look. See, here's
What
all.
do you
here's
use?
all
Do
the
you
latest
use,
gaming news.
Do you use Feedly combined with a desktop app, James?
I use Feedly
Focus.
with ReadKit on OS X.
Yeah.
I use it with
Yeah.
Byline on my phone, and then I think I have Reader on my iPad.
Now the Feedly app for Android is just awful. I don't know how they did it.
It's just a
I
crap
was
app
using
for
a third-party
everything.
one. I switched to it, and so I've got all of my RSS feeds in categories, right? I've got international, I've got Boulder, tech, self-improvement, and I think like amusing and hockey, right? And for some reason, there'll be articles, and if I like open the category and look at some of the feeds directly, I can read them. But if I just look at the category, certain feeds, but not all of them, won't show up in the category on the mobile app, not on the desktop app. I don't even know how to file a bug report for this. It took so long for me
If
to
you
just
have the
explain
Feedly
it.
app, you're going to have a bad time. That's
Bro, just switch
the
to
Feedly
dig
app is
reader
terrible.
like me, man, and you'll be digging shit all day. Although there's actually no
Dig reader.
digging shit in dig reader. Like
Yeah.
there's no.
Oh, really? You can't submit it to Dig or whatever?
I don't think so. You can thumbs up it, whatever that does. I think that means like that's
Yeah.
for me personally though. So I thumbs up it so I see it. There's a little bookmark thing and a little arrow that shares to Facebook or Twitter. I think that's all they do.
Let's move on to the next section of the show where James Bruce gets to talk and all of us nod and pretend we're paying attention. It's the Oculus Rift section of the show. Now, Samsung has apparently announced Gear VR in partnership with Oculus. I guess that means Samsung's working with Facebook. Yeah, sorry, Dave. I'm still awake because I'm talking currently. So these words I just said, James, what do they mean?
I think that was just... It's a very short one. It's just that they've announced a partnership with Oculus, which we knew was in the works,
Okay.
and it's a headset that you slot your Samsung Note 4 into. But the only thing that pisses me off about this is that right now the dev kit 2 is based on a Note 3, which is like lower resolution. So anyone who buys this crap is actually going to get a better display than the Oculus Rift, which is
So
quite...
how does it
annoying.
work? You use your phone as the display?
Yeah, basically you just slot it in.
So it's Google Cardboard, more or less.
It's a fancy version of Google Cardboard, yes.
Okay, cool. So Oculus is providing the case that turns the phone into a virtual reality thing, and
They're using the
software
technology
that makes the
behind
VR
it,
possible.
the motion tracking, the things like that. It's licensed from Oculus anyway.
Speaking of the Oculus, it'll be really interesting to see what happens there. Katie Faulkner on the Twitters this morning sent me a message, or at the Technophilia message, saying, you need to watch this and discuss it on the show. Elders react to Oculus Rift. Now, I watched this morning as soon as it came in. I think you did too, James?
Yep.
And I have never really been an Oculus fan. I think it's kind of crazy, but seeing these older people use it, I got it. It clicked for me for some reason. It makes sense. They were so excited. They were exploring a Tuscan village at first, I think, and then they were on a roller coaster, and it excited them so much. And, these are people who would never be interested in video games at all. And it's just that much more intuitive, and they got it. I really, really enjoyed watching this. James?
Yeah, I think it was really cruel to put them in that horror one. I won't even do that shit. But they really got into it. They took it at face value. They realized the possibilities and how amazing technology has advanced over the years. And they don't have any...
And at the end, they were saying things like, I can't believe I've gone in my life from black and white televisions to something like this existing.
She summed it up nicely when she said, I nearly cried. It was so overwhelming. And I really...
Yeah.
I really hope that we don't destroy the world before I get to that age, because perhaps there'll be something that I can be wowed by like the next generation of neural
I feel
interfaces
like
or something.
We won't get wowed like that though, because I feel
We
like
will.
our generation is going to keep with the stuff as it happens.
No, because
Every
when I
generation
get old,
thinks that.
But
Every
we've
generation thinks
been
that.
brought up with
You're-
such tech, like with technology being like everything, especially
We've
us.
been
in
brought up with
particular.
television our entire life. There's no new technology that's going to wow and confuse us. Well, to be fair, we've had the phone our entire life. The technology of the next generation couldn't possibly surprise us. Everything that could be invented has been, a famous person said in the late 1800s. I can't remember who it is. Wow, can you believe we went from traveling across the country in horse and buggy to having things like trains and telegraphs? There's no way. Like,
Yeah,
we're
but
gonna
I
be
feel
able to-
like
yeah.
with the way the world works now, things are changing so much faster than they were.
well, that makes it even more exciting. That means by
Well,
the
yeah.
time
Yeah,
we're
but it
old,
makes it
we'll
also
just be
less
in the
shocking
Matrix.
because there's a new
When the
invention
singularity
happening
comes,
every
the rate
day.
of change is going to be so fast, we're not going to comprehend it. We're not going to get it. The generation after us will. It's going to happen. It's going to keep speeding up.
Honestly, let's
Exponential
face it,
growth.
the world isn't going to make it that far. We're going to be dead by the time we're 50.
Well, that's,
Really?
That's probably true, but
Why?
Because we're
I'm
just
sure there's
destroying
gonna be
the
a-
world so rapidly, I don't think that technology is going to save us.
plus we're cruising toward that World War III. I mean, it's only a matter
Exactly.
of time.
I
The World
wasn't
War
gonna
III
say
is not
that,
going to be
but-
like the other ones. It'll just be the end, you know.
I'm terrified living in London. I mean, this is a prime target for Russia right now. I want to move out to Wales, because who the fuck would hit Wales? There's nothing there.
Russia? Really?
So, did
sure-
you...
Russia can't bomb London. Where is all their money stored, James?
Look,
They can't do that. They can't. You're safe from that.
You
I
can't
think
do
the
that.
world's
This is
going to
Russia.
be better in the next 50 years than it is right now.
no. I don't believe that.
Well, if you're wrong, I'll never have to say I told you
How
so,
are we
because we're
going
not
to
have
save
internet.
all these species that we're destroying? Like, in 50 years, what are we going to have left?
You know, there's been mass extinctions before. They're happening again now. This time we caused it, and there's a lot of problems. But giving up is not an option. We need to keep finding ways to make the world a little bit better. And I think technology is key to that. I really do. I mean, yeah, we definitely need a change in mindset. And if everyone just gives up, we're certainly not going to get any better.
You know what I've always wondered though? What
Yeah.
you know how when you go to like a retirement home or a nursing home, everybody there is always kind of like sitting around. They seem kind of bored, you know, like there's not a lot to do.
Yeah.
When our generation is in the retirement home, we're all gonna love it because we're gonna be sitting in there in our room
Yeah.
playing video games and shit, and like
Yeah.
while instead of like sitting around like, oh, I wish I had someone to play backgammon with or something, we're gonna be sitting there like playing World of Warcraft.
We'll be
when we're,
complaining.
like,
We'll be
100
like,
years
God,
old."
there's nothing
Yeah.
new. There's no new games. It's all the damn same. We'll be so sick of video
I
games
always
by
wonder
then.
about that though. Like our generation has grown up with so much like inside like immobile technology that like when we're old, it's not going to be any different. We're just going to be like, yeah. We're doing
We'll
the
be
same shit
plugging
we did
in
when we were
direct
young.
neural interfaces by then. The singularity will have happened.
And then I always
No
worry
doubt
though, like
about
if that doesn't happen though, like what's gonna happen like when I get arthritis in my hands? Like how am I gonna play video games with arthritis? You know,
You'll have to get an Oculus Rift, dumbass.
you still need a controller with the Rift right now. At least.
No, you won't need it by then. We'll have such advanced Kinect.
Yeah. So what am I gonna? I'm like, remember, I'm old in this situation. So am I gonna like go run on that Omni treadmill thing when
No,
I'm
you'll
90?
you'll probably have an interface in your brain by then. You'll just think it and it'll happen.
Oh, okay.
You won't need a
I'm-
controller.
That sounds good. I don't want that now, but when I'm old, that sounds very convenient.
Hell yeah,
long as I
we
don't-
are just the perfect age right now, really, aren't we?
As long as I don't have like dementia, and because then who knows where my mind will take me. But
We're already planning for retire. It's going to be so much cheaper to go on vacation when we retire too, because we're just going to be able to do it all virtually.
yeah.
You know.
Watch how
Unless we
how
have-
disappointed is James gonna be when like nothing really changes and it just kind of
Yeah.
like the Rift kind of comes and it's popular but it doesn't like revolutionize the world. And when James is 80, we're still playing video games with controllers and you know the phones have gotten
You know,
better, but they're not.
The thing is, though, the people who predict the future are rarely wrong. There was this fascinating episode of NPR's Planet Money recently. I think sometime last month. I don't remember the exact date. But it looked at the World Fair from like the 1960s
Yeah, I listened to that
and
one.
how excited people were for the dumbest things. And no one No one was excited about computers.
Like, they
at all.
had
They didn't
computers
see it
there,
coming.
but everyone was just like, whatever, dude. What's these, new
Everyone
plants?
was really excited for the video phone, which we have now. And most people never use it because it's so awkward, and why would you want to look at someone? We like, no one would have predicted that we'd have a video phone and primarily switch from audio to text-based communication because we like it better. Like, no one would have predicted that.
Didn't they say the
No
most
one.
popular item at the phone was this, like, pair of socks?
There was a pair of socks that was heavily advertised as like the socks of the future.
It's
And the
ridiculous.
interesting point they made is that the main difference between socks in the past and socks now is socks are way cheaper now than they used to be. and no one predicted, like, it's really hard to predict the future with anything resembling accuracy. And the people who were predicting the future then missed computers. And as early as the mid-1990s, there was this video that basically predicted the iPad, sorry. Right? Like, it's going to be this device of the future. You're going to get most of your news on it. You're going to be able to just basically, you're going to primarily use it to consume information and use a desktop computer to create information. And you're hearing this and it's just like, wow, this guy nailed it. And of course, you're going to have to go down to the corner store to buy a little chip with your newspaper on it in order to read it. And I'm like, holy crap. You predicted the tablet computer so perfectly that hearing it, I thought you were just talking about it, but you forgot the part that the internet would be connected to. Like we don't know what kind of amazing technology is going to come up that's going to change things in a direction we can't even comprehend right now. And if you talk to people who are, not all people over 60, but a lot of them, they don't get the appeal of Twitter. They maybe get the appeal of Facebook. Because
Dude, I don't get the appeal of Twitter. That shit sucks.
But they don't get the appeal of something like Reddit or video games. Like, it's just lost on them, okay? Or something like Google Docs. Some people who are just like 40 are going to be like, why are you using that? Why aren't you just using Microsoft Office and emailing documents back and forth? It's always worked. It's great. And I'm like, dude, I don't care which features are missing for your fancy formatting or whatever. Being able to collaborate in real time is more important than any other feature like this. And some people just don't get that. And they're never going to maybe get it. And you know what? Dave, my point is, it'll happen to you.
Nope.
It'll happen to you.
I
You're going to be
refuse.
playing Dota, and all the kids are going to be like, oh, man, that's so lame. You're not even interacting with it in a 3D environment by wearing a headset. That's so dumb. You're using a
Dude, you
mouse.
can't even
Now we just
smell
use
the
neural
flowers.
implants.
That's true.
Yeah.
I already do hate Oculus Rift and think it's stupid. So.
That's what I'm saying. Whatever the technology of the future
But that's
is,
also because
you're gonna
Oculus
fall
Rift
behind.
is stupid.
Exactly. No, here's the point. Every old person thinks that. It's already happening to you, dude. You're already
But
doing
there's
this.
plenty of other new technologies that come out that I do embrace. Just I think Oculus is stupid.
Like
because
what?
it is
Yeah.
stupid.
Like what?
Like
What
like
new
these
technology has got
like
you
these
excited right
newfangled
now?
smartphones
God.
with touchscreens. I used to think that Blackberries were the best and that I could never type on a touchscreen, but I tried it,
Yeah.
and now I love it. I could never go back to a keyboard. There's
No, and
I just
everyone
think that
has
Rift
different
is bad.
lines.
It's not like it's nothing to do with technology. I just think it's a bad piece of technology.
I
Maybe
think
when it's
immersive
done-
gaming sucks. I want it on a 2D screen, dude.
No, but the Rift itself
That's
is
such a
bad. Maybe when
The device
next-
itself?
when
What do you
the
mean it's bad? Have
final
you-
one comes out?
You know what?
it'll prove me
Dave?
wrong.
I think the Rift, and I made this comparison to Google Glass in an article that no one read, so I might as well say it here.
Aw.
I think that the Rift is the Palm Pilot. Okay?
Yes.
And I think the iPhone version of this isn't coming out yet. The Palm Pilot, when it came out, it didn't make a lot of waves outside of technology enthusiasts. No one really cared about it. Like, if you were to ask a normal person, what's a Palm Pilot? But when the iPhone came out, it became a global phenomenon. I think you're going to see further refinements on the Rift's design. Maybe it'll be Facebook, maybe some other company. And eventually a product will come out that everyone will.
and then maybe I will
It'll
embrace
blow
it.
up.
But for the time being,
Yeah.
it's a piece of garbage, and I have no interest
Yeah.
in it.
Fair enough.
Because
dude.
I have no
Fair
interest in
enough.
spending money, hundreds of dollars, on unfinished products.
Because this is the thing a lot of people don't realize about the iPhone. It wasn't a brand new product. It was a very well-designed refinement of stuff that existed before.
Also,
I mean-
very few people actually really liked the iPhone until the 3G came out. The original
Yeah.
iPhone was not super popular. It was way overpriced, and it didn't do anything because there was no app store.
That's a fair
It did
comparison.
a lot more. It sold pretty well at the time.
It sold well,
And-
but not
yeah.
like when the 3G came out. That's when
You're
it
right.
really became like, oh my god! But also the price
And then
dropped
this
by a
is
lot.
what I'm saying.
Whoa.
Brand new things no one has ever heard of before rarely become consumer sensations overnight. It's a refinement process. So you could find a direct line from the initial release of the Palm Pilot, or you could even argue for Apple's Palm Pilot-like device in '95.
The Newton.
And you just
that
see...
was awesome.
I had
the
a
Newton.
Palm Pilot.
It never caught on. I had a Palm Pilot too. I thought it was pretty
I had
cool.
no idea.
My neighbor had a
do with
Newton.
it. I was
It was
like
amazing.
13 years old. What is a
That was the
13-year-old
problem.
do
That
with
was
a Palm
and
Pilot?
everyone who owned a Palm Pilot tried to justify its existence so bad. They synced their calendar to it, and they're like, now I can look at my calendar in my pocket, but the syncing never quite worked.
Yeah,
Right?
but I
It
was 13.
it was
I didn't
crummy.
have a calendar.
I
Yeah.
bought a Palm
Yeah.
Pilot on eBay about 5 years after they were released. It was like dead cheap, and you know
Okay.
what? It was the most
Yeah.
awesome little ebook reader I ever had because it had this glowy black screen.
That's what I used mine for too.
Exactly,
That's
right?
what
It
I
was
used mine
so
for
good.
too. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I love that thing. Who gives a shit about the calendar? Whatever.
E-reader was really the only thing I used, and MP3 player sometimes.
Oh, I don't think. I
Got
think
a
mine
little-
was older than
I had,
that.
I had a 4 gig SD card in it, and I'd...
Whoa.
4 gig SD card. Wait a second. That was like $700.
Oh wait, maybe I'm
It was like 4
misremembering. No, it
megabytes.
Yeah. A 4 gig
was-
SD
it
card
was-
when Palm Pilots, when their prime was like a car.
You're right. I'm misremembering this. I probably could only get like one album on there. It was probably like 50 megs or something. I did it though, damn it.
I think if that's your argument, Dave,
Anyways.
I kind of agree with you because it is
Yeah.
still very early and not ready for prime time yet. But
Although I am intrigued by the horror thing on Oculus. That looks like I've seen
Oh,
a bunch
that's
of
so
like
weird.
Patrick Klepek from Giant Bomb and PewDiePie have done horror game things on the Rift, and that looks amazing to me because I love horror stuff.
you know what? I like being
what
there
makes
right at
horror
the start.
work is that
I feel like I'm a part of something bigger, something that is going to change the world, and that feels good because
interesting.
I can
there's
understand.
very
that.
little in our generation that we've had a chance to do that with.
I'd rather wait until it's done and enjoy the finished product if it's good.
Oh, and it takes all kinds. You need people who are willing to do both.
You
So I
need
think-
both, right?
Wow, we have come to a consensus on the Oculus Rift, you guys. It has taken almost 130 episodes.
Hey, Scudderman says somebody made
We've
Dota
gotten
Rift enabled. Oh my god,
Yeah.
Dave.
How
Oh
would that
my
even
god.
work? It's not. It's a third
The-
person.
It
Because
says here
it's
the
a
interface
game.
was turned into a full cockpit-style HUD.
You can mod the code, right? So you can put the
Mm-hmm.
viewpoint from the viewpoint of a character, and you can play the game like that. Well, you
That
can
sounds-
view, I suspect it is. It's probably a spectator mode, not a playable mode, right?
Oh, we talked about the spectator mode, but he's saying a full cockpit-style HUD, presumably with controls for actually playing
You'd
the game.
get shit on though, like to actually like play competitively. I mean, I could see where that'd be fun, but you would lose very badly because your map awareness would be so much less than everybody who has this above view of everything going on. You have you're in front of you. You would get destroyed. But I could see.
Oh,
like,
no, it is literally from top down. Oh, that sucks.
Oh, so it's just playing the Oculus, playing the game in the normal UI through with the Oculus as your monitor, basically.
It looks like it, but...
Now, if you turn your head, does that change where you look? Because that could actually be an advantage because you could actually
Yeah.
extend your field of view.
No, it looks like they've kind of put you in a control room and you've got like icons on your HUD, but the actual game screen is still there at the front. It's just, oh, that's so lame. Oh, God, get rid of that. Nope, don't worry.
Okay, so let's
That's
trying.
let's wrap this up. Let's sum up the episode. Okay, change your passwords. The internet's just a fad, and it is immoral. Facebook's dumb. Microsoft, this was just a PR stunt. Oh, we skipped that one because it was boring. Nintendo sucks at naming things. Some gamers are jerks, but the nice thing is that you can just play games and not be involved with this crap because we're white and male and we have that advantage. So that's nice for us, I guess. And yeah, comments are stupid. I think that kind of sums up everything
Wait,
we've gotten
Dom-
to. And we finally agree on the riff. So that's what you learned today, Technophiliacs. Thanks for listening. I think we're done here.
Dom
I feel
had a
good.
request. Are we not going to do that?
What's up?
Dom's request.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay. So one thing, it's time for our linguistic game of the week. We've got some words here we need to pronounce. I'll start. ExxonMobil. Mobile.
Now I see why he wanted us to do this. ExxonMobil
Why?
and mobile.
Mobile. Mobile phone, mobile phone. Yeah, I've never heard this one.
Mobile.
Yeah, some Americans do say mobile, but mobile's kind of the default.
You see,
How do you say it?
You see that?
Dave?
Mobile.
You see that E on the end of the word, guys? It changes the sound of the phoneme immediately preceding it. Do you see how that works? Otherwise, we
Yeah.
just get rid of the fucking letter. You get
Yeah,
that,
but think
right?
how much
Okay.
harder it is to say mobile versus mobile. Like, look at it. Mobile.
Yeah.
Mobile.
Yes, I find English
Like-
quite a difficult language to pronounce.
It's
really
like I'm trying to
annoying
cough
sometimes.
up bile as I say it. Mobile.
Regional differences.
Mobile.
It's not a regional
differences
difference. You're
exist.
fucking wrong.
Regional differences.
If that's how you're going to pronounce
'cause
it,
nothing,
just delete the E. Why do you need it there? Just delete
Nothing-
it. You're going to
nothing
say it
in
the
the
same way.
English accent.
To be perfectly honest with you, I almost never say the word mobile in my daily life.
Why would
Except
you not
for
just
the-
delete the E? Just do it. Get
Except
rid of it. We
for
don't
the
need
gas station, because there's a mobile right up the street from my house. But I never
Yeah.
like say like my mobile phone or my mobile phone. I say my cell phone. Or I never say
Yeah.
like if I'm talking about someone that moves well, I never say like that person's real mobile or real mobile. I would just be like, yeah, that person moves fast. You know what I mean? Like,
You know
it.
what?
Would you say they were
Let's
immobile,
just,
or would you say they were immobile?
Let's work together on this one, James.
wait,
'cause
hold on. What would I say? If someone is immobile, I would say immobile. Actually, I think.
Oh my god, I hate you! You're not only wrong, you're inconsistent about your wrongness.
Wait, hold on. Let me just try to like. I see it's hard. To
Oh,
just
it's
say
just
it
frustrating.
I've heard
Man, that
both.
guy broke
I've
his
heard
leg.
both.
He's very. No, I would say immobile. That guy broke his leg. He's
Yep.
very immobile. I would say that.
I've heard both. No, this is. I'm pretty sure if you were to look this up in a dictionary, it would.
An
say
American
both
dictionary, yes.
pronunciations are acceptable. Yeah, it would say both are acceptable. You know what?
I was wondering why that was on the list. I didn't even think anything of it.
Yeah.
I thought what I thought he meant
Yeah.
was he wanted us to just cleverly work those words through
I was-
the episode somewhere.
I was confused until I said the words, and then I was like, yeah, these bloody Americans are going to fuck that one up, aren't they? And then I suddenly got it.
I think there's more people
Yeah.
in America, so more people say it our way, so therefore we're right by numbers.
Democracy, dude. We're right. No, you know what? Anyone who's trying to hold on to English right now by a certain way, you're going to be disappointed long term. Most of the people who speak English right now speak it as a second language. They're all making their own regional variations of it. It's going to splinter. And, yeah, I don't know. English is about to get a lot more complicated.
You're
Joke's
just
on you,
well
I don't
jelly
even
of
see
proper
any.
British, aren't you? You're well jelly.
Apparently, linguists have examined the British accent, and they say it's more of a deviation from what people spoke 500 years ago than the American accent.
Apparently, linguists are mostly Americans. You arrogant pricks.
Well, no, it's funny, though, because I don't even hear, like, an American accent per se. There's so many regional differences here. Have you been to the South? Dude, it's another language completely. You're going to be even more pissed off there.
Oh, that's true in
You
England
just
too,
gotta-
though. I mean, Scottish people, they don't
Yeah.
speak any
Yeah,
recognisable
when you get up
language.
to the
Yeah, but they think you're wrong, and this is the point. Like, you can't...
No, they know
you don't
they're
get
wrong.
to be in charge.
I do get to be in charge. The BBC dictates it, and so does the Queen.
Yeah, we're going to put that... Have you heard the Queen talk lately? You want everyone to sound like that? Really? That's a great idea. I do say.
Stop butchering the
Oh,
language.
man.
Alright, let's wrap it up. We're done.
You're butchering the language
starved.
You know
too,
what's
guys.
funny?
What's your-
Scudderman just tweeted and said, "What about a mobile hero in Dota 2?" And in my
What?
head, I
Yeah.
said, "What about a mobile hero in Dota 2, not a mobile hero?"
I hate you!
Yeah. Yeah, because
So seeing the
everyone
word
in
in a
Britain is
sentence-
completely reasonable with their wording.
Saying a word in a sentence, I want to say it as in the middle of a sentence. I want to say it as mobile, but when I see
Yeah.
just a word by itself, I want to say it's mobile.
But you already said mobile phone, so that doesn't hold true
See,
either.
I'm
that
so
wasn't in a
confused,
sentence. I would pull.
Because my wife corrects my pronunciation constantly, and I no longer know the difference between what's just like a Canadian accent and what's me just pronouncing things wrong. 'Cause she's
What's
correcting
just
me,
you
and I'm
being
pretty sure
dumb.
if you were around, you would be correcting it in a different way.
I
and
would be
just
correcting
as
you all the
confused.
time. That was
Yeah.
For
absolutely
some
awkward.
reason,
So-
my whole life, I've always said the word balance wrong, and everybody
What?
always made fun of me to the point where I fixed it. I used to always
Yeah.
like throw like an I after the A, so it'd be like balance, and then
Yeah.
I got made fun of so much by my friends that I finally like trained myself to say balance and say it
Isn't
right.
We
that
all
some
have
weird
stories
American
like that. If you
regional
have
thing?
any stories like that, why don't you find us on Twitter? You can go at the Technophilia. You can go on Facebook.com/Technophilia. Keep in touch. Let's talk throughout the week. Or you can go to makeuseof.tv/live, and if the chat room's alive, maybe you'll find someone else there. It was down this week. We made do with Twitter. I think it was fun.
You're listening to Techno. You're listening to Techno. You're listening to Technophilia. Listening to Technophilia. Technophilia. You're listening Technophilia. Doing that.
Well, I don't know who assigned that arbitrary rule that you can't drink in the morning, but I say bullshit.
Should we move on to the news then? Or you got something else? We'll see. Get off the internet and get to work.
I'm too perfect anyway. I got nothing to fix.
You're listening to Technophilia. Keep doing that. Technophilia.